Hello everyone, welcome to Himalaya IAS classes. This is Keshav Sir's Prelims Lens. We will be covering modern India in this session, continuing British reforms, Viceroy and foreign policy. First question, the first Factory Act restricting the working hours of women and children and authorizing local governments to make necessary rules was adopted during whose time? A. Lord Lytton, B. Lord Bentinck, C. Lord Ripon, D. Lord Canning. Answer is C. Lord Ripon. So Ripon and Lord Lytton you can take as very opposite policies or opposite character. Ripon was more into he favored a lot of things to India. He had brought out a lot of positive changes, reforms, and acts, whereas Lytton was exactly opposite. He brought out a lot of negative policies like Vernacular Press Act, okay, and Ilbert Bill controversy, and Delhi Darbar, and Second Anglo-Afghan War, Arms Act. So that was by Lytton. Whereas Ripon, he brought factory reforms and he abolished the Vernacular Press Act, and he also gave a lot of contribution in the field of education. Next question. The ruler of which one of the following states was removed from power by the British on the pretext of misgovernance? A. Awadh, B. Jhansi, C. Nagpur, D. Satara. See here the answer is A. Awadh. So for that we have to know that British had two policies of conquest, that is subsidiary alliance by Wellesley and secondly doctrine of lapse by Dalhousie. Under subsidiary alliance, the major princely states which fell under the British was Mysore, Awadh and Hyderabad. Awadh was annexed under the pretense of misgovernance. The next, under doctrine of lapse, the princely states which fell under the British were Satara, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jhansi, Nagpur in the same chronology. So B, C and D comes under doctrine of lapse. A is under subsidiary alliance conquered by misgovernance. So answer is option A. Next, consider the following statements. Robert Clive was the first Governor General of Bengal. 2. William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. Which of the following statements are correct? A only, B, A 1 only, B 2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 and 2. Answer is B, that is William Bentinck. He was the first Governor General of India. That is the correct option. So who was the first Governor General of Bengal? That was Warren Hastings. Next question. Consider the following statements. 1. The Charter Act 1853 abolished East India Company's monopoly of Indian trade. 2. Under the Government of India Act 1858, the British Parliament abolished East India Company altogether and undertook the responsibility of ruling India directly. Which of the following statements given above are correct? A 1 only, B 2 only, C both 1 and 2, D neither 1 and 2. See, we come to know that the option 2, B 2 only is correct because the Charter Act of 1833 had abolished East India's monopoly of Indian trade, including their tea trade with China. Okay, so therefore the first statement is wrong and the second statement is correct, that after the Government of India Act 1858, East India Company was abolished altogether and its rule was taken over by the British directly. Next question, consider the following statements. First one, Warren Hastings was the first Governor General who established a regular police force in India on the British pattern. 2. Supreme Court of India was established at Calcutta by the Regulating Act 1773. 3. The Indian Penal Code came into effect in the year 1860. See here, if we look at the first one, it is not Warren Hastings, it was Curzon who had established the regular police force in India on the British pattern. Second statement is correct. The Supreme Court was established in 1773 and the Indian Penal Code came into the effect in the year 1860. So here we had to know the first statement in order to choose the correct answer. So therefore, the answer will be B, 2 and 3 only. Consider the following statements. First one, Lord Mountbatten was their viceroy when the Shimla Conference took place. 2. Indian Navy Revolt 1946 took place when the Indian sailors in the RNE, that is Royal Indian Navy at Bombay and Karachi, rose against the government. Which of the following statements above are correct? A, 1 only, B, 2 only, C, both 1 and 2, D, neither 1 and 2. So here, Shimla Conference we already know was under the Wavell Plan. So Lord Wavell would be the viceroy, not Lord Mountbatten's. First statement is definitely wrong. Second statement is correct. That is the Royal Indian Navy Revolt 1946 was by the Indian soldiers at Bombay and Karachi. So here answer would be B, 2 only. Next question, consider the following princely states of the British rule in India. 1. Jhansi, 2. Sambhalpur, C. Satara. The correct chronological order in which they were annexed by the British is 1, 2, 3, B, 1, 3, 2, C, 3, 2, 1, D, 3, 1, 2. Here the order of annexation would be Satara followed by Sambhalpur followed by Jhansi. So it would be 3, 2 and 1. So we have the correct answer as C. Which one of the following pairs is not correctly matched? A. Pitt's India Act Warren Hastings. D. B. Doctrine of Lapse Dalhousie. C. Vernacular Press Act Curzon. D. Ilbert Bill Ripon. So here the one which is not correct is C. Vernacular Press Act. As I have already discussed, it was by Ilbert. Okay, and later Ilbert Bill was scrapped out. Like Ripon said, we should allow Ilbert Bill where Europeans can be tried by the Indian magistrates. So here the wrong option would be Vernacular Press Act. It was introduced by Lytton. Next question, consider the following viceroys of India during the British rule. A. Lord Curzon, 2. Lord Chelmsford, C. Lord Hardinge, D. Lord Irwin. What is the correct chronological order how they came into India? So here the option is Curzon came first. Okay, then there was Hardinge, then we have Lord Chelmsford, and finally we have Lord Irwin. This is easy to know because Irwin came in the last, that is very well defined, and Gandhi Irwin Pact also was formed. Just before that we have Chelmsford and Lord Curzon came the first. So if you understand how to arrange them, the answer would be arrived easily. So let me tell you the list of the governor generals who come in a proper chronological order. It was Warren Hastings, Cornwallis, Minto during 1773 to 1813. Later, from 1833 to 1858, the governor generals in India are William Bentinck, followed by Metcalfe, followed by Hardinge and Dalhousie. From 1858 to 1947, the important governor generals are Canning, Mayo, Lytton, Ripon, Irwin, Linlithgow, and finally Wavell. Next question. During the colonial period in India, what was the purpose of Whitley Commission? A. To review the fitness of India for further political reforms. B. To report on existing conditions of labor and to make recommendations. C. To draw up a plan for financial reforms for India. D, to develop a comprehensive scheme for civil services in India. These options may look difficult, but if we know about Lord Cornwallis, we know that he is known as the father of civil services in India. So it is not associated with Whitley Commission. So option D is gone. Then A and C options are little bit more extreme, and the British were not so progressive as to debate on political reforms and financial reforms for India. But it was the labor and making recommendations on their working condition. That was what Whitley Commission spoke about. So answer would be B, to report on existing conditions of labor and to make recommendations. Next question, the aim of education as stated by Wood's dispatch of 1854 was A, the creation of employment opportunities for native Indians, B, the spread of Western culture in India, C, the promotion of literacy among the people using English medium of language, D, introduction of scientific research and rationalism in the Indian traditional education. So we know that Wood's dispatch is known as the Magna Carta of English education. It wanted to promote literacy among the people using English medium of language. So clearly the option is C. But here we have to know that English was not the medium of instruction in all the levels of education. In the primary, vernacular was allowed. In the secondary, English and vernacular language was allowed. Only in the college and university level, it had to be all English medium of instruction. After that, Wood's dispatch also spoke about grant and aid system and opening universities in India. Let's look at the CSAT English comprehension passage. Really, I think that the poorest he that is in England has a life to live as the greatest he. And therefore, truly, I think it is clear that every man that is to live under a government ought first by his own consent to put himself under the government. And I do think that the poorest man in England is not all bound in a strict sense to that government, that he has not had a voice to put himself under. Questions. The above statement argues for A, distribution of wealth equally to all, B, rule according to the consent of the governed, C, rule of the poor, D, expropriation of rich. See, after looking at the options, if we read the passage, especially these two lines, to put himself under the government, and I do think that it should be in the strict sense that he has not had a voice to put himself under. This will definitely show us that the statement and the passage is arguing for rule according to the consent of the government. So the correct answer is option B. Thank you.